Hey guys, it's Rep. Today we're doing things a little bit different because I found a new obsession, and not Baldur's Gate 3. Here we have Pathfinder Kingmaker, which doing a reading on it, found out it had a pretty rough start, but with all the changes that they have made from the original launch, I think this is probably one of my more new favorite games out there. Love it because you can character customizations like tabletop Dungeons and Dragons. Same thing with Dungeons and Dragons Online. You can customize your character, so not everybody is going to be cookie cutter and set in the same lane. This game, new obsession. But before you get going on there, I'd make a few suggestions on how to make it run better. The more I use Steam, the more I find out that it's very system intensive. For me, I played this one and all of a sudden, like maybe about half hour, an hour in, it crashed on me. The way I fixed that was to go into properties. Once you're in here, get rid of the Steam overlay, cut that off. I think the VR was on, cut that off. And also take Steam Cloud, turn that off. Once I did that, game ran flawlessly for an entire day without issue. If I go into my NVIDIA settings, the anti-aliasing, I had it set for override on the anisotropic filtering. I don't know how you pronounce that. And anti-aliasing. I had those overridden here, but it made like this really weird outline in the game, so I had to cut that off, and then the outlines went away. Also, one of the things I want to highlight is some of the in-game abilities that make this game shine. So let's continue. This is from my party. It operates a lot like the old Baldur's Gate. There are a lot of small details in it, but one of the things I wanted to show you. Well, Elk, I'm sorry, I had to sacrifice you for the sake of the video.
Repent. To victory.
Okay. So, let's go ahead and click that off. If you remember, if you ever played Baldur's Gate 1, basically how the battle sequences go is everything runs at one time. So you get all your characters set to do their thing. Like I'll just do, well, hit him. You. No, actually, you both cast. And you can attack there. No, we have you cast too. Oh nope, she's out of juice. There you attack. 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 Now everybody's set to do their thing. Hit spacebar. And then everything moves. But let's say, you know, that becomes like, well, we'll get everybody attacked then. Everybody attack. Hit spacebar, and it's going again. And so automates the process, which is great, but tactically it could get boring. Now, let's say for instance you don't want it to be, what do you call it? You want it to be more tabletop. Hit the little chess piece here, turn-based mode. Now everything's more tabletop. Me personally, I like the more traditional. Everybody has an initiative role, and then everybody can choose what they're going to do, so it's more tactile versus I guess live action. This is the board. You can go different places. This is going to be Oleg's trading post is one of the first places you end up going. And something in here I think everybody needs to know about. Alright, now that we're here, if you ever played one of these games and you made a character and you're like, this is good, but it would be better if I did this. And so for the first 2 weeks of actually really getting into playing this, I was constantly rebuilding because I like to experiment with builds, and that for me in itself is a game, which is why I never really progressed all that far. Well, maybe I did pretty good on DDO, Dungeons and Dragons Online, but in here, if you find yourself not liking how you turned out, you get 2 free entire character rebuilds. I'm not talking, respecking or anything. We're talking choose your race, class, name, abilities, all of it. You talk to Honorial 8 Eyes. Alright. I'd like to use the tutor services of the Pathfinder Society. Yeah, great. Let's get started. You go there, you select a character, accept, and bam. You're redoing your portrait, your race, class, heritage. I think that was something that you should know about. Also switching between turn-based and the, we'll call it live action. There's probably some other technical term for it that I am unable to remember because it's eluding me right now. Okay, then you got your characters. All of these people you find along the way, there's more to find also. Now, one of the features, if you're into kingdom management, is once you complete the main, or the first part of the main story quest, all of a sudden you are managing lands. And you get to build little cities and make ruler decisions, and that might be a turnoff for some people. I know for me, it is. But once you do get into the kingdom, I'll let you go in here in the game options. I might not have it because I don't have the kingdom unlocked yet. Yeah, they don't have it yet. But what you can do is make it, you can turn it off completely so the game automates the kingdom management, and then you can just focus on the gaming, the actual storylines and kicking butt, versus you being called back to your capital all the time and dealing with all the trivial stuff that you may not be interested in. But if you like kingdom management, it's great. They give you time to complete the initial quest, so you also gotta be conscious of that. I got 69 days to claim the stolen minutes. Let's go to the character sheet. Now, it took me a while to figure out what kind of build I wanted, and your skills have an impact in the world, so you want to choose these very carefully. Say, for instance, I don't like this character. I go back to Oleg's. I have to rebuild it twice before they start charging me money. 10,000 for the third change, 20,000 for the fourth change. I think that was important to know. Turn-based, important to know. When you camp, it's another important thing. Going to the management side of things, this is where your skills become important. Because, well, okay, first things first. If you're out in the wilderness, you're not in a dungeon, you don't need to have these rations clicked. Take that off and let your people hunt for the food. That way you're not using rations, because rations don't cost that much, but they weigh a lot. So if you're in a dungeon, and you'll make sure that is on, so your people can eat and recover and proceed through the dungeon. But you'll need to have rations. Like, I only got 5 total And now I got 6 people, so I need to pick up additional rations if I'm going to go jumping into a dungeon. Since I'm not doing that at the moment, what I wanted to show you after that is lore nature, stealth, knowledge of the world, special roles, and take turns and shifts on who stays up to make sure you're not being attacked. So if you cursor over like me, I'm great at hunting and I'm great at watching overnight. Valerie does nothing good. And then Lindsay, she's great at cooking and camouflaging. Amiri, good hunter, good night watch. Harem, he's good at night watch and he's okay at hunting. Why do I have her? She's undead. The reason I'm complaining is she's undead. If you try to heal her, you end up hurting her. She's good at night watch. Cooking and hunting, she's alright. So how this works is... Alright, we'll put me at camouflage. Amiri to hunt food. Lindsay to cook the food. You'll take the second night watch. You'll take first night watch. And then we can add her as a secondary. We could put her in a special role. And what she does is adjusts and repairs her armor. It gains 1 armor class bonus in first battle within 12 hours. Effects extend to 1 additional battle for every 4 levels. That only affects her. She's not that great anyway, she hardly gets up in the fight because she wears heavy armor. Now that we got that, hit OK.
It is amazing what the Stag Lord has achieved with such crude methods. Imagine what we might do with lawful power in our hands.
Oh, they talk during the camp
The
too.
weak and flee from the strong. We'll kill them in no time.
Alright, food, no problem. Camouflage, not great. Cooking done, and now we wait for the guards. Make sure we get through the night. And nobody attacked us while we were asleep. So, we get done here. We gotta go kill the little traitor guy. It is very story driven. Your skills come into play. I'm working on persuasion just so I can have better vocabulary options. Even though it shows Lindsay is having a higher one, they won't always use your companions' skills in the dialogue. They'll be depending on your skills in the dialogue, and you have to pass those checks. So, I have found out that persuasion is definitely needed. Perception will help you find things on the ground. All the hidden gems. Definitely one. Let's go down the list. Athletics. You're going to need somebody who can do that well. We are relying on Mary to do that because she has +8. It's not great because when you're roaming around, it'll get you, like there's little paths that you can take, and she'll get you through those paths. Persuasion, more useful for your main character because your companions won't use it for you. Knowledge of Arcana, there are some options where that comes up in some of the storybooks that show up. Not really all that important, but if it's an option, take it. But just know it's on the bottom rung. I'm probably wrong about that because I haven't gotten into it, knowledge of the world. Cooking. Lore nature. This one actually comes in handy quite a bit. Mostly because hunting, getting your food. And Helps you avoid random encounters. It's always a plus. Religion, I've only seen it being used for one skill, and that's to cure somebody of ailments. So it might play more of a part of that. Mobility. Mobility and athletics. In the world, you're going to have one person who can get you through with athletics and another person to use mobility, because they seem to swap out between the two in traversing terrain. Perception, always want it. Find knickknacks, find out somebody's lying, etc. Stealth, if you're a rogue type, yeah, it'll help you get around without being seen and get the drop on someone. Only other use is when you're camping and you want to cover your tracks so you don't get attacked at night. Trickery, disabling locks and traps. Use magic device. I read some things on it. They said this is probably the most useless skill because you don't even get to wear the equipment, by using this. So it's more of a use scrolls kind of thing. Set a biography, you got your alignment. Alignment makes a difference in your decisions that you make. And, all the texts and stuff. So, if they say neutral good is an option, lawful good, chaotic, all that stuff, try to do the ones that stick with your alignment, otherwise it starts shifting all over. And if you're like me, who's reliant on a god, you get out of their alignment, all of a sudden your spells don't work. But this game has so much to it. On original launch, it didn't have the turn-based system. And if I was buying it before it had that, I'd be kind of unhappy with the game. But since it has it now, in the version that's being sold on Steam, I think it's definitely worth it. I didn't like the pause system, going around, set everybody up, and then just open it up, because you don't know if they're done with their actions or not. Turn-based system, once that's on, you go through everybody's actions complete, so you get maximized action economy. So if I start a new game, do the main story. This is a DLC. Varnhold's Lot. And then you have Beneath the Stolen Lands. This is inside the game. This might be inside the game. I haven't gotten that far yet. And that. You can set it to normal, but I'd recommend if you're starting out, do it on easy. You want the story, we'll do story. And then you can customize it too. So go to character creation, you can do the pre-makes or make your own. Their portraits have a lot to be desired, but apparently you can actually add one of your own. Which is kind of a nice feature. So we'll go with that. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the races. And you also got the heritage underneath a couple of the races. That gives you some extra stuff. I like the typings. Then you got all the classes. You got the prestige, just like Dungeons and Dragons. And then you got the subclasses. For all of them. And like I said, you can mix and match them and everything like that. So go like that. Then you got your heritage for your race. Or the motherless, because you get that extra bite attack. And then you get to choose your god. And you get to choose your domain, which gives you additional spells and abilities. You go to skills, pick all your abilities. pick all your, you know, get to add so many points in your skill itself. Just for example, I'm just going to blow through these here real quick. Alright, choose your skill if you have, your skills if you have any of them, or your abilities. Let's do that real quick. Now you do your spells. Choose your voice. And that. Choose your final. You complete it, start it, and I'll go through the whole storyline. Really don't care for the Inquisitor's hat. Wish there's a way to actually turn that feature off. Probably is one, just not seeing it. But I think this game is well worth the roll. I mean, I got it cheap in the Play Store, not Play Store, in Steam. So I was like, alright, I'll get that. Then I got all the expansions. And so far, it's been a game that's been right up my alley. As soon as I figured out that turn-based, it just totally, for me, turned me around. I'm like, okay, now I can play this. Give this game a shot. There's plenty of people right now covering the whole Baldur's Gate 3 thing, but I think this is a forgotten gem that should definitely make it on your list. Also, it runs native on Linux. And if you're not on Linux, get it on Windows. It's a good game. You can see I got 96 hours on it last couple weeks. So if that's any indication. Alright, well, this is your boy Rap, signing off. You guys have a good day.